Welcome to another race analysis, this time from the Folsom Criterium. This is the Elite 3-4 race mixed with the Masters 3-4 race. And today we're going to go over when is a good time to attack, signs your breakaway won't work, and also how to make a plan for the final sprint and kind of stick to that plan. We'll also cover maybe a couple other odds and ends throughout the race, but you'll be looking at my race and producer Tucker's race. Tucker, good to have you.
Thanks. It's good to be here, guys.
On the other side of the microphone.
That's right.
This is awesome.
So, Pete, do you want to describe the course for us?
Yeah, it's kind of like a melted D. There's two real corners that are still pretty easy. There's a kind of a slight incline between turn 3, 4.
Basically on the finish straight.
Yeah, on the finish straight. But it's really straightforward. It's this huge long bend that lasts forever when you're riding it, right?
Yes.
It's like a 60-second bend.
Never ending.
Never ending.
So should we fast forward to a point for Tucker's race here?
Yeah, let's see what Tucker got up to.
Let's do it. All right, so here we are in my race, about halfway through now. Really, like, nothing has happened so far. The race has been pretty slow, pretty boring. And my idea coming into this was to really just try and save as much energy as I could and really use it when it counts. But, you know, sometimes it's just going slow and it feels like I could just get away, right? Like,
yeah, you're like,
we're gotta be faster.
We're going so slow. There's no way I couldn't ride away from this field, right?
So we got a little gap going into this corner, and we're going 29 right now. And things just kind of slow down really quick, and so I just decide I'm just gonna hit it, see what happens.
Yeah, staying on the gas is always a good move, especially when they already did the hard work for you to get you up to 29 miles an hour. I think that's totally fine, and you didn't know how it felt out on the course yet by yourself, right?
No, not really. Just been hanging out in the wheels. It's been nice and comfortable.
Yeah, and so I think there's something to be said, depending on what type of rider you are, you don't really know how the course feels in a breakaway without being in a breakaway. I raced the same course later in the day, and I had to do the same thing. Like, the race was pretty slow. You don't know until you know. And then once you got out here, Tucker, how'd it feel?
That was tough. Absolutely. I'd say my FTP is about 295 or so. So these efforts at 320 are stinging.
Yeah.
Something that's interesting too is that you guys are going 29 when the pack slowed down, and you went up to 30. So like, not that, granted, that 1 mile per hour when you're going that fast is hard to get, but you expended a lot of effort to get like 1 extra mile per hour. Then you settled in at 29 again. So basically the same pace that we're going.
True.
So like, it shows, it's like, man, this is so easy. But then once you get out there, you're like, oh man, I guess it's not easy.
This is still hard. It's getting harder.
Yeah, so I guess it was a good time to attack in some regards on paper, Pete.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and one of the problems, if the race has been really easy and you're bored, that means everybody else thought it was really easy and they're bored also. And so since you guys had 70 people in the field, there's a lot of elastic and a lot of fresh legs. So it's pretty easy for a field to kind of speed up and grab 300 or 400 or 500 feet in like a quarter of a lap. Yeah. And so it looks to me like you're 5 seconds up the road or 10 seconds up the road. And that's not that far, and actual distance-wise. So all it takes is a couple people doing a little too much work on the front, and your gap is gone just like that. Yep. And no one else did anything. Like, John's sitting around at 150 or 200 watts in the field just following wheels, and you're crushing it. But you have to kind of take into account how much work the field has done and how fresh everybody is and the numbers of riders. I mean, it's a few different things, but you also don't know until you're out there. So I think you probably didn't do this again after this, right?
No way. I was sitting in, getting ready for the end.
So should we fast forward to the end?
Yeah, let's check out the last couple laps.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we are just coming up to 2 to go, and Tucker is getting into position here because we had a plan, and that plan was basically to play defense for the first bit. Almost worked. Unless there was a move that was dangerous, and then we pulled an audible. We defined dangerous as 30-second gap or more, or riders that we knew could make it stick. That didn't happen, so we just played defense until the final 3 laps, and then we said then we would play offense, and the way that we were going to play offense was to fight for position, which we'll get into that in just a bit, and then to basically make it so that I could be delivered to sprint into the last turn and out of it.
Yeah.
We felt like going into that last turn was going to be a key thing.
Yeah, and that last turn is probably 200 meters from the line, and it's a high-speed high speed bend and pinch point, so you want to be really well positioned into that corner.
Yeah, because if you get pinched out, then you can't accelerate past somebody. So one of the things that we thought of here, and you can hear me kind of prompting to tell you, Tucker, to go inside, right?
Yeah.
Because the plan was, if we could control the inside, nobody was going to sneak around on that sheltered, shorter, and very smooth, and oftentimes smoother section that we could have, and it would allow us to maintain power over that final bend.
Yeah, and that's a wonderful position of defense to be in, where if you're fighting for that inside line, everybody has to take the harder line to get around you, and so you guys had that locked up.
And you can't just fight for it once you get to it. We had to start positioning ourselves here and not get caught up in the washing machine effect and do that for the final 2 laps.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. It's a bunch of decisions. They're just, there's more of them, and it's higher risk during the last couple laps. So Tucker keeps fighting and has to pedal harder and harder to make sure he's holding position, but that's perfect. And he's still protecting that inside.
I like how you're not getting too far forward there too, Tucker. Now, I told you to go with that rider because I didn't know if they were going to really launch something. And had some argy-bargy, as they say, there with the Penn Velo rider, and lost your wheel. Pete, in this case, I lost his wheel. I wasn't panicking, though. I just knew that I had to get inside at some point to get back on Tucker's wheel. But what do you do in this situation? Should I have yelled out to Tucker, hold up, or was it good to just let Tucker go?
No, I think Tucker's in the exact right spot, so it's up to you to get back to his wheel. And I think you fighting for this inside, that's the shortest, fastest line to get back to him. And you told him into the sprint that we were going to protect the inside, so that's where he's going to be.
So coming in here, the gutter's fine. Gutter's great.
Yeah.
And people should use gutters. So got into here, fought for that position, and tried to position myself not directly on Tucker's wheel because of the fact that we weren't inside enough. You can actually hear me here telling Tucker, go more inside, more inside. And this is really coming into it, and I was expecting people to start launching, which they actually kind of were. You can see him in the rear camera. People are speeding up. That rider went around to the outside. So at this point, I wanted Tucker to leave the inside open, which you did, but not too open. Delivered me to be able to sprint.
There he goes.
And I kicked, and then I kind of resettled in because I figured I'd be able to get past him because of a long sprint, and then re-kicked again.
There you go.
Got around him.
That's awesome.
So do you want to rewind that?
Yeah, let's jump back into it and break it down a few different ways.
Cool.
So we're exactly at 1 lap to go right now, and you see John kind of get fought for some position into this turn 1, and that was kind of the last critical point where he had to make sure that he didn't get swarmed. And you guys were going really slow leading into this last lap, but then the speed picks up. So luckily you fought, and now you're still 10th wheel, which is pretty ideal. Now that the speed's pretty high, it's really just you getting your bars in front of rider after rider after rider.
It's exactly what I was trying to do with the rider to the side of me. Just get my bars in front.
Yep. And then as soon as you realize that Tucker's right there, let's pause it real quick. And the important part about this is that Penn Velo rider didn't shut down the inside line. And so Tucker's like ready for you. All you have to do is get around this rider, and that's where the gutter's there. I don't know why people weren't riding in the gutter. It's the perfect line, and nobody's going to come around you, so you slip through and get on Tucker's wheel, and then this is where kind of the battle starts, right?
Yep.
And you can see it more in Tucker's camera than you can in John's, where it's you're elbow to elbow with the Penn Velo rider, and it's just about you kind of leaning forward and just fighting for an inch or two over and over and over.
And I had to do a little surge to get there. And he was fighting for Tucker's wheel here. But this is a good example of Tucker's wheel wasn't actually the best spot to be, since Tucker wasn't as far inside as ideal would have been. So and we're still doing the side-by-side fight.
And let's pause it one more time right here. So kind of the C's part, and Tucker's able to go in between these two riders. I think that's kind of lucky.
Yes.
That's not always the way it works. Splitting riders is always more dangerous because they can always come back into each other.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, most people go outside when they blow up. Apparently they go inside today too. But I would be more scared about getting the door shut on me on the inside and not getting a great line into the sprint. So I think Tucker made the right call, and you had to chance it and go in between them.
Yeah, it was a moment where I kind of was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then, especially when I saw the rider launching from the outside. But then, like you said, the seas parted. The
seas parted.
Like, go, Tucker, go.
One other thing, you can just barely see in John's camera that rider on the left. He's attacking. It took him a lot of work to get to where he was. He was fighting the harder route to get there.
Longer track, windy track.
Yep. And it's about 30 seconds from the finish right now. So you don't actually have to sprint him. You just have to catch him.
That was exactly right. Yeah, exactly. Should we play through?
Yeah, let's play it through.
So he's already putting out a lot of watts to get that sort of differential on us when we're going 32 miles an hour. And then I surge into the turn to get some momentum, and that really kind of enabled a gap and Tucker's position. How Tucker stayed kind of in that sprinting path.
Yeah, he stayed outside, so he blocked everybody from the high momentum position, and then all you have to do is come past one rider.
I had to make the effort to concerted effort to stay in his line too. I didn't want to. It's tempting to swing out and get a clear track.
Yeah,
but I didn't want to do that.
So. And since you were coming up on him so fast, I think you made the right call where you can ease off for a second. You could see that nobody was within 10 or 15 feet of you. You got a really clean shot at the corner, so you can rest that half a second at only 800 watts and then re-kick to make sure you come past him.
Yep.
But nice job. Nice job, guys.
Excellent work.
It's pretty awesome. High five right now, Tuck. There we go. That was fun. Fun racing as a team.
Absolutely.
If you liked it, and also just so people know, if you subscribe to this, you're going to see more races from this one that unfold entirely differently.
Yeah, way differently.
So subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can check that out for sure.
Yeah, and make sure you hit the little bell icon so that you get notifications every time we upload, so you know when they're there.
Tucker uploads a lot.
He uploads a lot. And I want more comments about what you would have done differently than I would have.
For sure.
Let's hear it.
Yep.
If you like this video, subscribe for more.
If you want to check out the full race videos, click right here. And if you want to see the other race analysis videos, click over there.
And if you want to become a faster cyclist like producer Tucker, like Pete, like all of us here, and like the many other people, you can head over to TrainerRoad.com. It works. Trust us. You can give it a shot even. We'll give you your money back if it doesn't work.
Always.
It's true. Really.
You guys excited to race this year? Like all three of us together?
Together. The rivalry is real.
It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be awesome.